What's going on, good people of the YouTube and all that other stuff that I post on and what you subscribe to. I just want to thank you all for joining me again for another episode of the Simple Habits, Great Results podcast. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the content so far. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and thank you for your viewership, your likes, comments, and subscribes and everything like that. Really appreciate it, and I can't thank you enough for everything. So, with that being said, we're going to get into the topic of the day. The topic of the day is, oh, hold on, I got my notes here. Stress. Is it really a bad thing? So, we're going to tackle that today on the podcast. Again, the Simple Habits, Great Results podcast. And we're going to talk about stress and how it can actually be beneficial for you. So, with that, hope everybody is creating themselves a great day so far. And we're going to get into the podcast. So what's going on, everybody? According to the dictionary.com, I have a couple of definitions that I'm going to read to you about what stress actually is. So from a physiological standpoint, stress is a specific response by the body to a stimulus, as fear or pain that disrupts or interferes with the normal physiological equilibrium of an organism. It's a fantastic definition. The other more simplified definition of stress is physical, mental, or emotional strain or tension. These are really, really good definitions of what stress is, because when you think about what stress is, our perception of it is always a bad thing. It's the emotional things that we go through on a day-to-day basis, like parenting, real stressful, paying bills, our work, marriage, all the relationship issues and being single and all that stuff. That's very stressful. And that's what we perceive our stress on a day-to-day basis to be. But when you really break down that first definition that I talked about, what interferes with the equilibrium of an organism, i.e. the human body? Food? Does that interfere with? Yeah. So technically that's stress. Exercise? For sure that interferes with the equilibrium. Yep. So that's stress too. What else? Drinking water? Yeah. So a lot of things that we think about are really actually stress on the body, but they're not bad. Like reading a book, learning something new that really, really disrupts everything in the brain because it has a defined place to store. So that's stress. But is reading a book bad? No. So when we look at stress, we only really focus on the emotional side of things and not necessarily the physical, unless we injure ourselves or something like that. Then we think about stress in that light. But in order to help your body grow, in order to help you become better, in order to instill those habits that you need to reach your goals or whatever those are, that's stress. But it's not a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing because I like learning new things. I like challenging myself. I'm stressing my body right now by speaking to you all, but I like to do this. I like to do challenging things because I just want to get better every single day, at least 1%. But is that bad? No. So our perception of stress is what really, really has to not necessarily change, because you can't get out of life without stressing about parenting or bills or all that stuff that I mentioned before. But learning how to rework how you think about stress can be a benefit. Because when my kids stress me out, I just think about it like, it's just helping me become a better parent. Whenever I have to stress about bills, hmm, this is just making me figure out a better way to manage my money. Whenever I stress about work, huh, maybe I need to prioritize my time a little bit different so that I can manage my day a little bit better. So when your perception of stress is always in the negative, guess what? You don't really get much out of that. But when you change your perception of what stress really is and how it can be beneficial for you, that's when you start to change. That's when the game starts to change for you and you start to see things a little bit differently. Now, I'm not perfect. I'll tell you that, because sometimes it gets to me too. just like it gets to everybody else. That's fine. That's life. But the thing that you have to do is grow. If you're growing in life, you'll do the things that you want to do. When it comes to stress, if you're stressing in your life and your perception is making it into a good thing, you'll learn something from that. Like, I want my body to change. What do? I stress it out. Then I recover. Stress it out again, and then I recover. Speaking of recovery from stress, how do we recover from stress? Well, that's a bit of a loaded question, and I'm gonna be honest with you, because there's a lot of things that go into that. But first and foremost, your perception of what stress is must change. Because if you always deem it as something bad, you're never going to really fully recover from it. But if you look at it as something that you can learn from and there's a positive in your life, you can definitely recover from it. So first and foremost, it has to be the mindset. After that, we're going to talk about food a little bit because that is where it gets a little dicey. When we're talking about exercise, for the most part, food is critical for recovery, but the quality of the food that you have really, really matters. So you can't think that you're going to recover from exercise or any mental exertion kind of thing if you're eating McDonald's or ice cream. That's not going to happen. So when you're thinking about what quality food really is, talking about lean meats, vegetables, fruits, seeds, little starch, no sugar, that kind of stuff is definitely going to help you in the recovery protocol and recovery aspect of, for the most part, any type of stress. Because again, the body doesn't know what's going on. It just knows it's stress. And the last thing is rest. Rest is really, really important when it comes to recovering from any type of stress. If you think about it, on those days, if you get like 4 or 5 hours sleep and you consistently do that, the little things really, really get blown up into something big. Like a little thing as far as like, oh man, my hair fell the wrong way. Gosh, the world is over. Those things really, really kind of become bigger than what they are. And that's simply because you're not recovered. You're not mentally recovered from the day before. So try to put a priority on A, your mindset, and to be honest with you, B, how much rest that you're getting. Because if you're getting in the 7 to 8 hour range of sleep every night, you'll really see a big difference as far as how mentally you are the next day. So those are the three things that I will put as a way to recover. First, again, your mindset. Second, the quality of food that you're intaking. And third, sleep. Stress is not a bad thing, people. Your perception of it may be. Think about it differently. And I promise you, you'll look at it in a whole new light and you'll appreciate the stress that you're going through. Because at the end of the day, it's just going to make you better if you allow it to. All right. That's all I got today, everybody. Good stress is not a bad thing. Bad stress, it's not a bad thing either. You just have to learn from it. I couldn't find the polar bear, so we got our friend the Parasaurolophus right there, along with the rocket lamp today. So I hope everybody creates themselves a great day, and we'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.